Hi, Professor. Could I ask you a question about the mini case for this week?
You could.
For so I was just asking for about number one, where it asks the five sources of cost advantage for Southwest. So I was wondering if that question was just asking to list out the sources listed in the book, like economies of scale, or if there was a specific answer that you wanted.
How does Southwest meet the economies of scale?
Okay, so like how they did it for each of the five sources.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like the economies of scale, Southwest has all 737 Boeing airplanes, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so
So,
much.
yeah. So, don't just regurgitate what's in the book. You have to relate it to what the case study is doing. So, how does the economies of scale apply to Southwest Airlines?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. See Josh here yet? Not yet. Any other questions, concerns? Nothing? No, everybody's sleeping still? Is it nap time? Everybody's so quiet. Is my mute button on? No, you guys can hear me.
Is it raining where you are?
A little bit. And it's partly sunny, partly rainy.
In Riverside, it's thundering.
Yeah, they were saying it was snowing too.
Yeah, there was hail in my hometown.
Yeah. Ronaldo, how'd the tryouts go?
It went well. I thought I did what I could and played as well as I could. So I just gotta wait 3 weeks once like the MLS draft just passed. So just gotta wait to hear back if the coach and my agent are able to work out a deal.
No, good deal.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
No problem. Yeah, I have a my wife's cousin is on a soccer team down in South America.
Oh really? Do you know what part of South America?
I don't. He's in Ecuador.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was about 2 years ago. He was doing the same thing you were doing, going to tryouts and everything, and trying to get on a team.
Yeah.
But down there, they actually have to pay a lot of money sometimes to go to do stuff, and it costs them money to go try out.
Yeah, that's part of it. Sometimes it's little sacrifices.
Yeah. The price we pay for fame, fortune, and to be a soccer star, right? Football star.
Yeah.
To get all the girls. All right. Let's see. So we got 74, not too bad. Give it a few more moments. What else is going on? There's Joshua. Who became a co-host today.
Okay, hello everybody.
Okay, Josh is taking over. Go, Josh. He's going, what?
All set.
How's the discussion sessions going?
The discussion sessions are going well. Been spending a lot of time talking about the assignments and what I'm looking for, what we're grading on, talking about the different things people brought up in the assignments, areas to improve overall, and taking a lot of questions about them as well.
Okay. Well, I looked at the grades. Most everybody's getting 4.5s, 4.75, a few 5s here and there. So the grades seem to be pretty good.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I would say the students seem to really have a grasp of the material. Areas for improvement so far have been more in just the composition and in how the material is presented.
Okay. Yeah. In business, the reason I kind of do a lot of this stuff and make you format your stuff a certain way, because in business it's all about presentation. When you get out of school and you go work for somebody and you present something to them, you have to make it look good. They're going to look at it and go, "What the hell is this?" If you do a crappy job on it. So 90% of it is all presentation. It's all how it looks. If they're going to continue reading, you do an executive summary. Your first couple of paragraphs is like introducing yourself to somebody. You don't get a second chance. If it's crap, people are going to look at it and go, "What's wrong with this person?" So that's why I kind of want you to work on that. And I want you to be aware of that. Be very, very aware that even if you're working at a job for a long time, your boss may never know what your work looks like, and then they ask you to present something. You don't want to present crap, right? You want your boss to know, who you are, you're doing a great job, and all that other good stuff. So that's why that's why I'm really particular about how stuff is presented. So now it's your guys' turn. You guys want to bag on Joshua? You got anything bad to say or good to say about Joshua?
Doing great.
Great. All right. Good deal. All right. Yeah, a lot of people are not feeling good, so don't worry about it. So. I'll give a few more minutes here. We got almost everybody here. One of our students' mom's in the hospital and she's not doing too well. So that's kind of a downer. He just called me and let me know. She has the COVID. All right, so got quite a few people going on here, so we'll get started. Any questions before we start? Yes, no, maybe? All right. All right, so we're in week 4. And it's all about chapters 5 and 6 in the evil Facebook. I like that picture that I found. Chapters 1 through 4, do a quick review. We're going to talk about differentiation advantage today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about preparing for the midterm, which I know you guys are all excited about. And then what's new, and a little question and answer. Okay, so chapter 1, we talked about the SWOT analysis. What we need to do for strategic management to turn that into competitive advantage. We use Walmart as our example. And then we got markets to pursue, unique value to offer, resources and capabilities to develop, and the sustained advantage. Okay. So we talked about Porter in chapter 2, the 5 forces, threat of new entrants, buyer power, threat of substitutions, supplier power, and competitive rivalry. Okay, and then the value chain. Remember we talked about the value chain? Know the value chain, inside, outside, backwards, and forwards. Just to reinforce it, here's another view of the value chain. You think maybe that might be on the midterm? All right, VRIO, valuable, rare, inimitable, and organized. So we said if you have all 4, you're definitely sustainable competitive advantage. If you have even 3 out of the 4, like Cobra did, you're still very competitive in your market and in certain niche places. Okay. I also talk about pastel, which is not in your book. So political, environmental, social, technological, environmental, economics, the first E, environmental is the second E, and then legal's the last letter of the pastel model. So we talked about a company that moved over to France. Actually, I'll go in more detail a little bit later when we get to international business. So a company moved over to France and said, "Hey, we got all of these great things to offer your people. That for employees, we do this, this, and this." And the French didn't care because they said, "Hey, we get all that stuff anyway because the government already said we do." So, so there was really no incentive to come and work for that company because they're the carrot that they're dangling, they already get by law. Okay, so the pastel you kind of use as an international moving into different countries. We also use it when we talked about the airline Southwest, that little exercise that we did. All right, so chapter 4 is all about cost advantage strategy, economies of scale, learning and experience effects, lower cost due to proprietary knowledge, lower input costs, different business models. So pretty much Southwest Airline falls into almost all 5 of those categories. Even different business model, they kind of do things a lot differently than many of the other airlines. So make sure you hit all 5 of those. All right, so Southwest grabs a spot as the world's largest airline. So that was in April of last year. This is up until June 15th, what's going on from January 20th. So who's the biggest airline now? So let's launch a poll, shall we? Wake up. Time to do something. Ooh, you guys really like Delta, don't you? You don't think Southwest took it over again? No Googling the answer. Nobody likes the China Airlines very much. Even though they got 1 billion people flying. All right, we got 95 out of 104. That's good enough. All right, so we're in poll. Share results. So Delta is the clear winner. What do you guys think? United's not there. United's not there. Delta's not there. Delta's there. All right, just because you fly on an airline all the time doesn't mean you can vote for them. All right. So Southwest not anymore. Delta did have it for a while, but they dropped back down into 3rd place. So the #1 airline today, China Southern Airlines, becomes the world's largest airline in October. All right. So as of January, though, look at these. Some of these airlines lost more than 55% in their capacity flying. So the COVID has definitely taken its toll. They're still, the one thing I want you to see is they're still very, very competitive. I mean, you know, you got a lot of different airlines and you got a lot of competition still, and they're all, for the very few people that are still flying, you know, they're competing very, very hard for that business. All right, so we're going to go into chapter 5, differentiation. We're going to use Facebook as our example for differentiation, and a few other examples, but mostly Facebook, how it affects it and how it uses it. So the cost, last week was cost advantage. This week is differentiation advantage. It's still part of a cost advantage strategy. Okay. So product differentiation, a strategy whereby companies attempt to gain competitive advantage by offering value that is not available in other products or services or that other products don't do as well. So if you can differentiate yourself, do something different, you will have a competitive advantage. Okay, so once upon a time, there's a company called Facebook, Friendster, and MySpace. I don't even know if MySpace and Friendster are still around anymore. If they are, nobody uses them. So the differentiation of advantages, or four different differentiation ways to differentiate yourself is superior product features, better reliability, convenience, brand, and image. So for example, this little watch, how much do you think this little watch with jewels encrusted all over it costs? Throw a number out there. $25 million. So obviously this is not a differentiating convenience or better in reliability. It's more of a brand and an image and superior products, or superior jewels, I should say. So like cost advantage can be focused or it can be broad. You can focus on as many consumers as you can get by bringing your prices down. Although I don't know about Apple. What is their new phone is what, $1,500 now for the top of the line phone. Starbucks is still $5 a cup of coffee, and the Nikes anywhere of upwards of $100. But like cost advantage, these are affordable options that are mass marketed, unique products or services based on consumer willingness to pay. So there's a broad differentiation as opposed to a focused differentiation to the top 1%. So you're going to see offered special valuable narrow groups of consumers based on very specific customer demands. Not everybody's going to go out and buy a Rolex as opposed to a Swatch or a Casio watch. Not everybody's going to be able to buy a Rolls Royce, or a Ferrari, or even a Tesla. Okay. So differentiation means providing unique value that allows a firm to command a premium price for its products or services, relies on the consumer's willingness to pay. So almost everybody who wants a cup of coffee can pay you $5 for a cup of coffee almost, right? So everybody who wants a Rolls Royce can't always pay the $200,000 for a Rolls Royce. Even though you can buy a cup of coffee, it doesn't mean you can buy a Rolls Royce. So the differentiation means providing unique value to a specific group. Ladies, how much for this little handbag? It's only a Valentino. It shouldn't cost too much, right? So only $4,000. A little wallet to go with it, you're looking at $1,300. So not a big deal, right? There are four primary ways that companies differentiate their products from competitors. Superior products, like the Porsche has been known to be a superior car. Better reliability, Volvo has a reliable, safe car. Convenience, the Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck on the market. Sold more trucks than any other brand. And then brand and image, who doesn't want the image of being in a Ferrari, right? Okay. So how Facebook differentiates themselves is in the beginning, they offer greater exclusivity, privacy, and simplicity, the ability to share relationship status, and zero advertising. So can you believe that? Once upon a time, Facebook had zero advertising. Okay, so they have a unique product feature, unique product performance, exceptional service. The technology was new. There was nothing like it, and there still is nothing really like it. The quality of the product, you can get online. You didn't get kicked off. You can do, a bunch of stuff on there. And then detailed information. So the mission statement back in 2004 with Facebook mission is to give people the power to build community. They've kind of kept that, and they've kind of said that over and over again. The rise of Facebook over Friendster, MySpace, and Facebook, they're all free services. So what are some of the ways that Facebook differentiate itself to surpass these two? And this, I'm going to open this up to you guys now. So you can volunteer or I can call on you. Yes, the G-Shock clock. I collect those. You can put it in chat, or you can talk. You can speak up, or raise your hand. A little bit more flexible engagement. Relationship status is one of the things. Yes, I think Facebook started off that they wanted kind of to be a matchmaker, but that didn't kind of turn out the way they wanted it. We already talked about no ads. It was a mature place as opposed to MySpace or Friendster. Yes, it's where your moms are now, right? On the Facebook.
Professor, I think from what I remember, because I mean I was young, of course, and I was on MySpace, and doing the jump to Facebook was kind of like doing the jump to LinkedIn. Apples to oranges, but it's kind of like, okay, it's the college, you're connecting with your college friends. So it's like less than LinkedIn, but more than MySpace. So there was a gap there that we didn't really know was there, and they filled that gap.
So pretty much everybody now is on Facebook, though, right? Or Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So TikTok, but there's, you share videos on Snapchat, TikTok, but it's not really a social platform other than, sharing a few videos and whatnot. And Instagram is just pictures, basically. My son all he ever does is put his 69 Dodge on there. And then I hit like, and then he's happy. All right. So it's not too much of a platform for a social platform. Offer greater exclusivity, privacy, simplicity, the ability to share relationship status, and zero advertising. So you guys got pretty much all of them. Okay. So no advertising, which I wish they would do now. Secure site, no sharing of personal information, minimalist, clean, neat appearance of web pages. Okay. So yeah, that's what made Facebook so great. Everybody liked it. Everybody shared it. If you were on if you were on Friendster or MySpace, you kind of evolved over to that, or something similar, Instagram, to communicate with all your friends. Okay. Yes, it's snowing. We know. All right. So the idea for the new mission statement is to bring the world closer together. Fill our mission statement, and it's still talking about community, building a great community, and blah blah blah. All right. Well, as long as your community is what Facebook wants your community to be, you guys are all fine and great. If it's not your community, if it's not their community and they don't approve of it, your post goes against our community standards, so you can only see it. So they don't share it with anybody. They keep it to yourself. That's their idea of building a community now. All right. So what happened to Facebook in the 4 years since this textbook was published? How has Facebook become a monopoly? Have they become a monopoly? Google and Amazon. What do you guys think? You're shaking your head. Yes, Ranjan? You think so? So is there anybody really to compete with Facebook? No, not really. You think so, V? Tell me, who's competing?
No, I was agreeing with you. I was saying, like, I don't really think they have like any other competition, not that I'm really aware of. Yeah, I see that some people are saying that they do, but not on the same not on the same platform, I don't think.
Yeah, it's kind of like Disneyland, right? So who else has theme parks? Are they anywhere close to what Disney does? Not even close. Twitter, they don't have a platform like a social platform like Facebook, but you can tweet out a message, and I think it's limited too, right? And it's you can't really do pictures. Well, you can do pictures, but you can't do a lot as Instagram is not really it's owned by Facebook, so I mean it's still part of their company. So, oops. All right. So does anybody want to add anything? So revenue streams. So how does Facebook make their revenue? Are you the customer? Not really, right? 89%, which came from digital advertising, but unlike its rivals, which allows advertisers to connect with consumers through keyword searches, Facebook generates revenue primarily from targeting, advertising, and user data. So they collect your data and they target you, or they sell that data to the companies that want to target you. Yep, ads and data, correct. Let's check in the chat box. Okay, so Google primarily makes money via its advertising network. So Google advertises and by using their search engines and apps, and that's how they make most of their money. So only 110 billion in 2017, 160 billion in 2019. So this is where Google's revenue comes from. As you can see, most of it comes from a good 3/4 of it comes from ads on Google own proprietaries properties. Okay, so Amazon is slow to the party. You know, they're not selling your information, they're not advertising, but why? Because Amazon already has a revenue stream, right? They're selling products all over. They started off selling books. Now they're selling all kinds of different things, and they take a profit. They take a share of that of those sales. A lot. They take too much, actually. From me, experience of selling on Amazon. So what happens? Amazon is slow to catch up to what Google and Facebook are doing. But Amazon, as you can see, this slide's about a year old. JCPenney's and Sears no longer in business. So just the Kohl's, Nordstrom's, Macy's, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, who has a large majority of it, make up barely half, just a little bit more than half of what Amazon's total sales are online, right? So as Amazon dominates the internet and selling, they're trying to also do what Walmart is doing, is having stores and having brick and mortar. So they're trying to find a happy medium between the two. And quite frankly, Walmart's the only company big enough to even compete with Amazon. All right, so I always do this. January 22nd, this Saturday, is when I took the stock prices. So you can see they constantly are every quarter keep going and going and going. So at the beginning of the pandemic in April, this is what the stock price of Amazon, 2375. Oops, wrong way. So now it's 3292. So as you can see, it's grown quite a bit. Google 1279, 1892, and then Facebook 179 opposed to 274. So these companies are definitely, when it comes to a VRIO, they are definitely in a position organized to where they can take advantage of what's going on with the economy, what is going on with the pandemic, so they can actually capitalize on what's going on with all our misery. Questions about this so far? All right. So who developed the first PC? Ooh, time for another poll. All right, here you go. Wake up. Time to participate. IBM. Why do you guys like IBM so much? What about Apple? Nobody likes Apple. And nobody's watched the videos I posted either. All right, wake up. We still got a few more people. The people who are sleeping are picking Apple now. All right. You guys ready? Is that it? I'm just going to get 100. All right. So the overwhelming results are 55% IBM, 13% Dell. Xerox comes in second with 15%. Atari, nobody answered to Atari last time in my earlier class. And then just 7% Apple. So the winner is Xerox. So if you guys watch that videos I posted, it's kind of interesting. It shows you how Xerox developed this computer, which is basically the predecessor to the personal computer of today, and how the guys at Xerox in New York City, Rochester, on the East Coast, didn't care. They spent all this money in the development of a computer, and they had this huge company that sold copiers to these large corporations and to the government, making billions of dollars. They didn't care about the computer. They didn't want to know about the technology. They said, yeah, we'll give it to Apple. I think they ended up selling it to Apple for $1 million in a stock trade, worth $1 million in stock. So kind of a interesting dramatization that I posted, and a little bit interesting story about excuse me, how Steve Jobs obtained all the technology and the graphic user interface information from Xerox. So my point being, differentiation sometimes can be too different. So if you come out with a personal computer 10 years before people are ready and want to charge $40,000 for it, Xerox actually never made their copier, or their computer to sell. They used it in-house for their own people, and used it for a few different companies to connect the internet together. So they never actually tried to market it. Yeah, Xerox tried to go back to the PCs, but they never did. They came up with a few of them, but they never really marketed them because the corporate CEOs and everybody didn't understand them. One, they didn't understand what the capability of the computer was going to do in the future. They're very short-sighted. All they cared about was making money with the copiers. And they were making a lot of it, and they had a monopoly on it. So they could pretty much do whatever they wanted. Imagine if they had the monopoly on the computer too. All right, so sources of differentiation. What is a source of differentiation advantage? So we already said this, superior product, better quality, more convenient, brand image. So basically something that does a better job on existing features. Does a unique job and does more jobs. So what are some of the companies and products that do this? Think about the products out there. What do you have? Like your Apple phone, right? That's kind of a unique thing. Tesla, absolutely. Apple. What else you got? You guys like Tesla? What about something like Dyson, the vacuum cleaner? It's kind of unique. Google Chromecast. Okay. What about Nordstrom's in service? I think I've told you the story where I bought a couple of shirts online. I took them back, and the guy who was working there had been there for 20 years, recognized me. And that was kind of the customer service type thing that Nordstrom does. Nobody does it. And the return policy. Okay. Apple, and of course, Disney, right? There's nobody makes you happy like Disney does. All right. Nobody cares about AirDrop. I don't even know what AirDrop is. What is AirDrop? Somebody explain that to me. What is AirDrop?
AirDrop is more like some kind of like a Bluetooth connected between Apple devices.
I have a Google Pixel, so I don't, I have the wireless headset, but I don't like Apple. I don't like their products too well. They don't work with the PCs. Nespresso quality coffee with a push button. There you go. So sharing from Apple to Apple devices. Yes, absolutely. Apple has kind of tried to make a monopoly where they, you can only do certain things. FaceTime, right? With the Apple, you can't do FaceTime. My wife can't FaceTime me on my Google Pixel. So, but my camera's much better than her Apple anyway. So no one likes green text. I don't have green text. Okay. Yes, yeah. A lot of the cell phone companies are removing the jack for headsets, so you're gonna have to go wireless no matter what. All right, let's move on. Okay, insights for marketing segments. We're gonna talk about what these companies do to market you. So Facebook advertising suggests friends requests, new products. Differentiation strategy require a deeper understanding of the customer's needs. So they're more intrusive, more invasive. Customer segmentation analysis, consumption chain analysis, taking data off your phone. So we got together for a little, my wife's birthday. So my brother-in-law decides to take a picture and put it on Facebook. This is what Facebook decided to do. Photo reviews show you photos you might be in, which are found using face recognition technology, which I never approved, which I never said, good looking family, right? Which I never approved, which I never, so I get this this message from Facebook that they recognize my face. So this is a little bit of how these companies are getting a little too intrusive, maybe, or they're using the information. So 15 years ago, Facebook was the differentiated itself to surpass the both. And so now the way it gets into Facebook now, who are Facebook's customers? Are they the users, the consumers? Are you guys their customers? What do you got? Marketers, advertisers? Yeah, absolutely. So does Facebook really care about the community you're building? Of course they do, because they can group you all together and sell you as a group, right? The Trump presidency. No, I don't think Facebook liked Trump too much. Advertising in companies, yeah, absolutely. So the company, the people advertising on Facebook, those are the customers. Good thing about business is I don't have to get political. So, okay, so Facebook competitors, really, they don't have any competitors anymore. So there's really no competition whatsoever. Okay. So their mission statement, as we saw, yeah, they're still about building community, but you got to make sure that you don't offend them. You got to make sure that your community aligns with everything that they want to say and do. So that's pretty much where we are. All right. Okay, so what Facebook sells now is increased, basically everything to increase their return on investment while allowing you to build reliable mental models of your audience. Segmentation is important when a much larger market is narrow. So I don't know, some of you took my GIS class that I taught a couple of quarters ago. Everything was about, we had what, 90 different market segments, I believe, through Esri. So there's quite a few different market segments, and they gets really, really well tuned and finely tuned, depending on what you're looking at. So Facebook Audience Insights is an incredible, powerful, and necessary tool for any Facebook segment strategy. Demographic, age, gender, lifestyle, education, relationship. It goes on Facebook, the top pages that like in different categories. So every time you hit like, Facebook records that and sells your information. Location and language, where do you live? What language they speak. So if I want to find everybody in the United States that likes hot dogs and clicked on like or does anything with hot dogs, I can find them all over the United States and all over the world for that matter. How frequently are people logging on to Facebook? My wife's phone tells her how long she's been on social media, what she's been doing with her, on her Apple. Purchase activity, that's the biggest thing everybody wants to know, right? What are you buying online? What are you buying through your phone? How are you buying it? What are you buying? How are you paying for it? All right. So geographic market segmentations, designated market area all over the United States. So not only do they put you in other categories, they're going to put you in categories of zip codes, where you're at, all that other good stuff. All right, how are we doing on time? Examples of lifestyle traits: a homebody, somebody who stays at home, doesn't go out too much; art enthusiast, sports fanatic, fashion conscious, love of the outdoors. And like I said, there's 90 different ones that we did in our GIS class. And different ways to segmentate. A job to be well done, attributes of a circumstance, your job can be done. So for example, well, let's do the definition first. Customer segment is an analysis of a customer needs to identify groups, buyers who are similar in the way they discriminate among and value products or service offerings. Objective to identify them and get the most maximized profit you can out of them. These are just some of the customer segmentation. It gets more defined, and as you go through, and then benefit of. Go ahead. You had a question? All right. So benefit of customer segmentation: more customer attention, enhances competition, establishes brand identity, and it goes on. All right. Improves channel of distribution. For example, Walmart, when they know what you're buying, when you're buying it, how you're buying it, they can make sure it's at the store for you, right? So if they're tracking your buying habits, I like the Greek yogurt, 2%, and they are going to have it at my store because I go shopping every Sunday at Walmart after church. All right, so they know all those good things about me. So identifying key jobs to be done through customer empathy and discovery. For example, people don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill. They just want a 1/4-inch hole. Okay, so if I'm doing work, I'm not going to think about what, buying it. I just want to get this thing done. So the solution to get the job done is what and why. So in order to get a 1/4-inch hole, I'm going to have to go buy a 1/4-inch drill. All right, so empathy, understanding customers' functional, social, and emotional jobs to be done. And discovery, getting the job done by providing a solution that offers greater simplicity, convenience, cost, and access. So looking for jobs that are important, unmet, and widely held. If you can do that, you will be the next billionaire. So for example, my wife connects with her family that are in Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Spain, and here in the United States. So how does everybody get on the same platform? How does everybody communicate? Well, they use Facebook and WhatsApp. Everybody can access it. It's easy for everybody to use. Her aunties who are 70 years old, 60 years old can, they can get on it and use it. So it's very, very easy. FaceTime, not everybody has an Apple phone. WeChat is not very big in South America, even though it's big in China and in Europe. Snapchat, half the people haven't even heard of that. Skype seems to be a little bit too confusing to use. And GroupMe is fairly new and doesn't really do anything as far as social media type things. If you want to transfer or share a file or share a group, yeah, that's great at school. But Facebook seems to work best for everybody. So they can send jokes, they send pictures, and they, they chat with each other. They can, see each other over the phone and talk face to face using the WhatsApp phone application. Okay. So identifying key jobs to be done through customer empathy and discovery. So this is how they all communicate. Jobs stands for jobs, objective, barriers, and solution. So if you can figure out how to do that with a new innovative technology, you will be the next billionaire. All right, customer jobs anchor. I'll skip through this real quick. Sometimes a milkshake is more than just a milkshake. It can do several different functions. It can be an emotional companion on your commute back home from work. It can appease the kids, so you get done with the soccer game, the football game, and the kids, give them all a milkshake, or it can just be a yummy treat. Okay, so Net Promoter Score, your book talks about this, so I'll mention it real quick. Distractors, passive promoters. So Net Promoter Score equals promoters minus distractors. And here's an explanation of it. I'm going to go over quickly because I'm running out of time. And don't worry, I will post this, and it's also in your book. Questions, concerns? V, why do you look all irritated? What's going on?
I'm not irritated. I just looked at the time. I was like, wait, what time is it? Don't we get out at 4:50?
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. We're running close. All right. So announcement, UCR, AGSM taking almost all UCR students. So if you're an undergraduate student, you want to go to graduate school, they'll pretty much take almost anybody. If your heartbeat is still going, if you got a pulse, they'll take you. They're waiving the GRE, the GMAT. It's a top actually 100 MBA school. I got my MBA from there, so, and I'm not that bad, right? I wouldn't take a gap year. What are the questions? No lies detected. Okay, so Patrick Lemire is a guy to talk to. I can write you an introduction letter or personally introduce you. All right, what else? Groups. So make your appointments with me. This week and next week, email me to make an appointment because you're going to have a meeting with me right after the week after midterms. Most groups will have 2 or 3 meetings. Yes, Zuri, you raise your hand.
Sorry, that was an accident.
That's all right. Stop playing with the buttons. Okay, so we got some other chat going on in the chat room now that has nothing pertaining to what I'm talking about. All right. Did I turn off the personal chats in between you two, or are you guys still doing those? No? Okay. So most groups will have 2 meetings with me or 3, which is a good thing because the more you know, the better you can do, right? It's a process. It'll be a little confusing at first, and I'll help you clarify it. And then you'll have more questions, and we'll keep doing it. As a consultant, what you would do is you would have a meeting, an initial meeting with the client, and then you would probably follow up on a regular basis with that client. A meeting once a week, depending on what the project is, how long the project goes on. You would have several meetings with that client, and you would clarify and you would keep redirecting yourself to meet his or her needs, whatever the case may be. I will be the CEO. Oh, wait, not yet. I will be the CEO. Go ahead.
Just a question real quick. Just can you announce the just the date and the time for the midterm?
I will get to that in a moment.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to have 1 of 3 questions on the midterm, and I'm going to let you take them home and do them at home. They're designed for an hour and a half, but I will give you like 3 days to do them. So here are the questions. Question 1, 2, 3. It's going to be one of those. All right, did everybody get that? So since you're going to be writing on several different concepts in this paper, I'm going to go back, don't worry. I want you to label them, sub-label them, bold, italics, anything else you need to do to keep them organized. I'm going to be grading them. And yes, I will be including that in your grade. If you're not organized, if I don't know what you're talking about, I am not going to give you a very good score. So the more organized you are, the easier it is for me to read, the better grade that you will get. Midterm is going to be worth 50 points. Midterm will be due Friday, February 5th at 11:59. I'll probably give it to you late Tuesday night. So you'll have Wednesday, Thursday, and all day Friday to work on them. Okay. You will be graded on format, outlining, and the response to the question. Do not write one long paragraph. I had a couple of people, all they did was write one long paragraph. It was horrible to read. Okay, so I just gave them a C and I didn't even read it. All right. Don't be that guy or girl. All right. Okay, so Southwest mini case due June 27th, which is Wednesday. Nike mini case due February 10th. As always, MCPs are due every Monday morning and discussions are due every Friday. And that was the first pair of Nikes I ever owned. They look just like that, which is the very first Nike came out with, except for their track ones that they did for a few of the University of Oregon and Oregon State people. Yes, your Spidey vision wasn't working because I went really quick on that, didn't I? So, okay. So question one, 2, and 3 I'm going to pick one of those and put those as the midterm. So 1, 2, and 3. You guys got that right? 1, 2, and 3. All right, fine. I'll slow down. Okay, so question 1 is going to be Southwest Airlines, Walmart are in 2 different industries, have 2 completely different mission statements. Walmart's mission statement is to save people money so they can live better. Southwest Airlines believes they should become the world's most loved, most flown, and most profitable airline. Both companies are the low price leaders in their industries. Both take full advantage of competitive advantage. And both use cost advantage model to achieve strategic advantage. Explain how Walmart's and Southwest cost advantage value chain, Porter's 5 forces, is similar and how it is different to create a strategic advantage in their respective industries. So in this question, you have what is their competitive advantage? What is the value chain? And how does Porter's 5 forces work with each of these companies? So you compare and contrast them on both of them, right? So you're going to label all of those so I can know what you're talking about in bold or italic, preferably bold. And you're going to sub-label them. All right. So that's question 1. I will post these Wednesday so you'll have them. Okay. Cobra mission statement, brew the finest Indian beer. We discussed Cobra beer in class and the analysis of the external environment, the issues within the brewery industry. Using the Pestel and VRIO models, explain how Cobra Biller has used this model to create competitive advantage. You would also want to do the value chain in this and the Porter's 5 forces and how they maintain competitive advantage. All right. So that's question 2. And then question 3 is a list of 10 different questions that you would have to do all of them. List the 4 primary stakeholders, explain the significance of internal analysis, mention the general environment factors that can affect the profit potential of a firm, explain the reason why substitute products are taken as a threat by firms, define rarity and explain how it creates competitive advantage, explain the ways in which diversification adds value, mention the 4 ways the companies achieve cost advantage, and so on and so on. And 10, I ran out of ideas, so I said, what has been your favorite company thus far and why? All right. So I'm going to ask you one of those 3 questions for your midterm, and I will post the slides on Wednesday after class.
And how much content do we need to produce?
As much as it needs to answer the questions. I love that question because everybody asks me, how many pages do you want? And I want as many pages as it takes to answer all the questions adequately.
Understood.
All right.
How about doing a poll about us choosing the question?
How about not? This is a not a democracy. This is a dictatorship. All right. What else?
Professor, is
Yes.
there such a thing for you as too much writing? Is there amount of pages you don't want to read about these questions?
What have I been saying this whole time? Get to the point quickly. Tell me what you need to tell me, and then move on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm assuming you don't want an intro paragraph or anything like that for this.
I want you to use the template I gave you. So single space, use bold. I like bold because I know what you're talking about. Complete sentences. I want you to do nice paragraphs. There's if you're not sure about a paragraph, there's a thing called a burger bite. How you make a hamburger? You use the beginning paragraph. Make your subject statement, and then you're supporting all that other good stuff. So do it. So nice paragraph. I want, you guys are all college seniors, right? I know English for some of you is a second language, but you've been in college long enough to where you can write a paper that is, that I can read and explain, you can explain yourself well. Other questions?
Professor, for the discussion post this week, it says 5 replies. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a couple of sentences. You guys have nothing better to do, right? You're locked down. You're at home. You guys don't have any other classes besides mine, right? Just kidding. That's the only one you have to do that with, so don't worry. Carlos, complete sentences, or Avi, I'm sorry, complete sentences, and yes, you better do a good paragraph. I will take off points. No bullet points. You know when to use bullet points and when not to use bullet points, right? Think I'm going to explain that one? When you need to make a point and it's short and sweet, do a couple of bullet points. And that's what bullet points are for. So you may do a complete sentence and you say, and the following, blah, 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 and you hit the bullet points, 3, 4, 5. Don't go along and make a bunch of them. And you say, those are the reasons why. You know why. All right. Anything else? All right. I'll stick around for a few minutes afterwards for office hours. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. You're all free to roam around the country, as Southwest Airlines would say.
Well, before everybody leaves, Professor, I'd just like to bring up a point as well. I was just wondering, I've provided a lot of guidance in the sections just along the lines of what you said about grading for the assignments and just using the template, which says to use a traditional format of intro and then body and then conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But students have asked me a couple different times for some, I don't know, more specifics about it. So I was wondering if you'd like to clarify for the class, like what a 5 out of 5 should look like, or if you can give any other guidance to the students on that.
Okay, so a 5 out of 5 should look like, I'm going to publish this in an academic journal. It's so good that you made no mistakes. It reads perfect. That would be a 5 out of 5. 4.75 out of 5. I saw a bunch of people got those. That's still very good. Excellent. You've even given out a few 5s, right?
Yeah, I've given out some 5s, yeah.
So what are you guys whining about then? I mean, it's 5 points. So if you get 4 out of 5, you're still getting an A. And I grade on a curve, remember? So the highest score of the class is going to be the A+, and then everything down from that is going to be, like I gave like 10% of the class got A+. So 100 people, 10 people got A+. I am the most liberal grader you'll ever meet at UCR. Hey, Josso could be teaching this class, if you guys are gonna get lucky.
Yeah, I've been pretty. I've been a stickler in terms of giving out the 5s. I've given them out for the, they have to excel in all the areas, right? Which is essentially like you're saying. But then beneath that, I mean, if students have been doing pretty well, if students are getting if students are hitting all the main points and getting everything else mostly right, they're probably going to get somewhere around a 4.
Okay,
or 4.5. So
4.5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get 4.5s all the day long. You'll get an A+. Are you supposed to bring any deliverables to the group meeting? Good question. You should probably kind of have an idea of what kind of products you're going to do. You should kind of have an idea of which way you're going to go. So if you're going to do 1 product, 2 products, 3 products, yeah. So I am the CEO. You're going to have your first meeting with me. So I'm going to clarify a little bit about what's going on. So that would be a good thing, right? So like I said, most groups will have 2 or 3 meetings. The first initial meeting, you guys are going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to tell you a little bit, about what I'm looking for, and then you go from there. I'll give you an example, some things like that. Other questions?
Professor?
Yes.
I just had one question regarding the midterm. When you said cite your sources, you just want us to paraphrase the material, right? No direct quotes?
You can do a direct quote if you want, but when you're writing a paragraph, what do you do with a direct quote? Why do you use a direct quote?
To kind of back up your statement that you're trying to convey?
To back up your statement or solidify what the point you're making, right?
Yeah.
So do you think you're really going to need a whole lot of quotes, direct quotes, for doing this assignment? No. Unless it comes from the book? No. So according to our textbook, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So if you really want to make a point and you're going to do a whole lot of research on your midterm, which is not necessarily necessary, but you can do all the direct quotes you want, but just make sure they're there for a reason.
Okay.
Like I said, keep it short, keep it simple. To the point. Get to the point quickly. My favorite is I get probably about a dozen sales calls a day, and they never get to the point. They go, "How you doing?" Blah blah blah. 5 minutes of small talk, if they even last that long. I said, "Hello, what do you want? Get to the point. I'm busy." Yeah, I know I'm cruel, insensitive, no empathy for anybody. All right, what else we got? All right, you guys take off, have fun. I'll see you on Wednesday. And I'll be here for a little bit in case anybody wants to meet with me.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, everyone.
Professor, I had a quick question.
Sure. What do you got?
So if we're to cite external sources for the midterm, do you still want it to be like footnotes like we've been doing for the MCPs, or do you want to works cited? Oh, okay.
Just do it that way. I mean, if you want to do a citation page, go ahead and do it.
Okay, thank you.
What was my other class you were in? You were in the GIS class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Question, where do you find who's in your group? Like, I don't know how I got assigned to a group.
Joshua, where are you?
The groups, I can put the link to the Google Doc in the chat. I sent out an announcement about it this weekend because everyone has been assigned. So
okay,
you probably have one in your R mail, an announcement for me, but if you just give me a minute, I can just post it. I can put it in the chat right here.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just find it.
Other questions? Yes, Christian. What do you got?
Professor, I need more clarification on the bolding part. So you said that you like when we bold, you want us to bold the whole thing for the midterm, or
Why would you bold the whole thing? What,
Yeah,
what is the purpose of using bold?
to highlight like important information?
All right. So if you're saying Porter's 5 forces, according to Southwest Airline, you put rivalry, bold. And this is who's the rivalry for Southwest. Okay, so use bold sparingly, but use it to highlight what you want me to know. So if you're saying, you know, these are the 5 forces, you bold all 5 forces. These are the VRIO, and this is why, blah, blah, blah. This is valuable. This is the reason why. But, you know, just bold it, not the whole thing, but just bold like one thing and then go from there.
Understood. And we use the same template and everything, right? So
yeah, just use the same template. Nice and neat, organized. So it's easy for me to read because I have to read 105 of these.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You're welcome. Brandon, do you have a question? Maria, another question? No, you got the link? Josh, do we need any business?
Nope, all good on this end.
Okay. I think I got a link to this, right? You didn't change it?
Yeah, this is the same link from before. Yeah.
Okay. Did you enter everything into iLearn yet?
For the groups?
Yeah, make the groups in iLearn.
I haven't made the groups in iLearn. I didn't know I was supposed to do that, but I will do that.
Okay, yeah. Next week sometime is fine.
Okay, so I will take care of it. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so I'm going to start meeting with the groups next week. What I'll do is I'll print out and then I'll